Welcome back. The news in full. Bahrain hosted a two-day conference entitled East and West for Humanitarian Coexistence with the attendance of the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar, Pope of the Vatican, in a galaxy of religious figures and intellectuals from across the globe.
Addressing the concluding session of a two-day East-West dialogue forum in Bahrain, the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar, Al-Imam Al-Akbar, Sheikh Ahmed Tayyib, said on Friday that the cause of all crises that the world is witnessing is the absence of social justice. The Grand Imam stressed the necessity of having hope that relations between the East and West recover, pointing out that the West countries need the human resources of the East and the latter need to benefit from the Western knowledge. Al-Tayyib hinted at the religious figures and intellectuals' important role on tackling crises, calling for an immediate halt and end to the Russian-Ukrainian war and violence that killed thousands of people. For his part, Pope Francis of Vatican warned the world is on the edge of a delicate precipice and buffeted by winds of war as he held interfaith talks with the Grand Imam. The 85-year-old Argentine decried the opposing blocs of East and West, veiled a reference to the standoff of Russia's invasion of Ukraine in a speech to religious leaders in the Gulf state. The Pope visit, aimed at strengthening relations with Islam, comes with the Ukraine war on its 9th month and as tensions grow on the Korean Peninsula and in the Taiwan Strait. Al-Tayyib, who met with the Pope on previous Middle East visits, also called on Friday for talks between Islam's two main branches, Sunni and Shiite, to settle sectarian differences. Later, the Pope addressed 17 members of the Muslim Council of Elders, an international group of Islamic scholars and dignitaries at the Mosque of Sakhir Royal Palace. He told them dialogue was the oxygen of peaceful coexistence. He also struck out at the arms trade, a commerce of death that he said was turning our common home into one great arsenal.
The World Health Organization declared Egypt clear of measles and Ebola for the period 2018-2021. The declaration came during the RVC's fourth meeting that took place on November the 1st to 3rd. The Commission equally recommended the Ministry of Health to maintain the high performance of the National Immunization Program. The Commission also urged the Ministry to bolster vaccination targeted at people coming from unaffected countries and mandatory vaccination for expat children coming from those countries. Minister of Health Khalid Abdul Ghaffar, for his part, said the country outlined a comprehensive plan for developing Egypt holding company for biological products and vaccines as part of the state strategy to make Egypt a regional hub for manufacturing vaccines and meet the African continent's needs of the vital drugs. Egypt condemned on Friday an assassination attempt of former Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan. A foreign ministry statement expressed Egypt's solidarity with the government and people of Pakistan in combating all sorts of violence, terrorism and extremism, and wished a speedy recovery to the top Pakistani official and all the injured in the incident. This came as Khan accused his successor Friday of involvement in a plot to kill him as he recovered in hospital from gunshot wounds following the assassination attempt. Khan told the reporters that Shehbaz Sharif, who replaced him as premier following a vote of no confidence in April, was involved in the plot that included Interior Minister Rana Sanullah and a senior army commander. The government has denied any part and blamed the assassination attempt on a gunman fueled by religious extremism. The attack on Khan's convoy killed 1 man and wounded at least 10, significantly raising the stakes in a political crisis that has gripped the South Asian nation since Khan's ousting in April. And domestically, as part of Kullina Wahid initiative, the Ministry of Interior resumed its social role with organizing an event for a group of school students who live in new residencies. The children were hosted in the social protection headquarters where they were lectured by experts and academics as they learned how to react in case of fire eruption and what is the importance of preserving the environment in light of Egypt hosting the COP27 conference in Sharm el-Sheikh. The children also witnessed a simulation of rescuing drowned car and how to pull the victims out of the water as part of the social protection missions. The young guests expressed happiness with spending the day in one of the Ministry of Interior vital sectors. They were involved in new experiences, learning a lot of valuable new things. Come back, time for the economic news. Minister of Finance Mohammed Ma'id said Friday that Egypt will bring together global financing institutions and top economic figures when it holds a ceremony marking the World Funding Day next Wednesday. The ceremony is set to be inaugurated by Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli and will be held on the sidelines of the 27th UN Climate Change Conference COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh. The funding day will include 17 high-level sessions on the mechanisms of facilitating recovery for green economy. During the sessions, a number of initiatives will be proposed to encourage the private sector's expansion in carrying out sustainable development projects, taking into consideration the environmental approach.